So what are the things I love and hate about my travel trailer? Well, I'll cover that in this video. All right, so I bought this travel trailer this summer, back the 1st of June. A couple big reasons I did that. One was for the comfort and conveniences that go with having a RV of some sort versus just a camper van. And the other was, the big thing for me was storage space. I'm a minimalist. I've literally traveled around the country more than once with just one bag, everything I owned in one bag. So it's not that I want to have a lot of stuff, but I do have a few more things these days between office supplies and camera and computer gear and stuff than I did back in the day. But also, just with the ongoing supply shortages, it's nice to be able to carry a little more stuff so you don't have to worry if you're traveling and can't find something. So there are some obvious advantages and disadvantages to a trailer versus just a camper van. I was aware of those going into it, really. But after 6 months and some traveling, it seemed like a good time to pause and review my experiences so far, what I like and what I don't like quite so much. I do want to note I'm dealing with some really really bad internet right now in Quartzsite, Arizona. That's why I haven't been putting up quite as many videos. Working on that. I'm trying to find some other area. I need to be in this general area for work for the next month or two. But I am trying to look into some options that might let me get better internet. So what's happening here with Verizon, I have several different devices on a couple different Verizon plans, and it's always bad here in Quartzsite in January. Really bad in January. Well, right now it is as bad or even worse than I've ever seen it here, and it's only the middle of February. This has been going on for a week or so now, so I can't even imagine what it's going to be like here in January. But trying to upload videos and they fail halfway uploaded. You have to start all over again. Even trying to do email or anything like that is a lot of times completely impossible. And when it does work, it's really ridiculously slow and sometimes stops in the middle. So it's a problem. I'm working on it. I'll try and find something better so I can upload more videos soon. But just so you know, that's why the videos have been a little slow the past few weeks. I also wanted to mention, too, one of the projects I've been wanting to do for a couple of years now is do some photo greeting cards. I have my first set available and on hand now. I'll have a link in the video description if you want to check them out, but the first set covers Wyoming. This is 5 different cards with 5 different scenes from Wyoming. So if you think it's something you'd be interested in, I'll have a link in the description and check those out. All right, so we'll dive into it. There's things I love about the trailer and then the things I don't love quite so much. So, and the things I love: comfort, being able to stand up, cook standing up, walk around inside, have an indoor bathroom that I don't have to put away under the bed or somewhere in between. It's nice to have those conveniences, including a shower. I don't have a hot water heater right now, but I can at least do a spray shower or something in an indoor enclosure. So that's kind of nice. So there are some comforts that go with having a RV or a travel trailer like I have, and I do appreciate those comforts. Conveniences, there's a lot, you get more of the household type conveniences in an RV. I am limited right now with some of those because it's an old trailer and I need to upgrade some of the appliances, and because power issues. This thing's really made to run on shore power, but I'll get into that a little later. But these things are really nice when I am plugged in somewhere because I have all the comforts of home, essentially. Storage space, particularly with the supply shortages. It's like I said, I'm a minimalist. It kind of annoys me having to carry extra stuff, but it's really nice with the way things are these days to be able to carry a few months worth of paper towels and toilet paper and coffee and other essentials, some extra food in case there's things I can't find, whatever. It's also nice to be able to carry the extra water. I have a 26-gallon freshwater tank in here, and then I have another 8 gallons I carry in the van, so I can be off grid for a few weeks without needing to worry about water. Like I said, I have other supplies I can stock up on, so if there are shortages in the store, which is an ongoing thing, but I'm able to carry enough stuff that now that it's not too big of a deal if I can't find something for a week or two. And then the final one, as far as what I love about it, is what I'm terming respectability. I don't mean I think it's more respectable. I mean there are places that will discriminate against people who are in DIY rigs, and so I don't have to worry about that issue now because I'm deemed to be a little more respectable because I'm in a travel trailer. Makes new options for places to stay is the key part of that. So even though I don't love them, it means I don't have a problem staying at most RV parks. There are some that have like the 10-year rule thing or whatever, but I generally don't want to stay in hoity-toity places like that anyways. But I have not had any issues with pulling into an RV park while I was traveling this year and somebody saying, oh, hey, you can't stay here because you're in a van or whatever like that, as sometimes happens. Other organizations like Harvest Host, they require you to have a self-contained rig. So again, I can do that kind of thing now, which I could not do just with a van. And then even things like the LTVA, where I'm staying this winter right now, I need to find another place that has usable internet, as I was saying. But when you're on the LTVA, they require you to be within a certain short distance of the vault toilets if you don't have a self-contained rig. I don't know how strongly they enforce that rule, but it is a rule on the books, and so it's not something I have to worry about because I have a travel trailer that's self-contained. It has holding tanks and everything, and I don't. The vault toilets are too close to the entrance. There's too many people around, and if I can say it like this, I don't care for the neighborhood. Where I'm at, I'm miles from pavement and there's nobody around, and I like it nice and quiet and peaceful, and it gives me lots of opportunities for sunset photos and things. All right, so what do I hate about the travel trailer? Well, hate honestly might be too strong of a word, but what are some of the things that are challenging or frustrating about the travel trailer? I don't think any of these were really big surprises, but they are things that you have to kind of balance, I suppose. So one is the cost to travel. Now, I knew that my fuel efficiency was obviously going to go down when I'm hauling the trailer. I was guessing 10 to 12 miles a gallon based on past experience with this van, and that was right on. It was my average for going from Wyoming to Texas to New Mexico and then to Arizona, southwest Arizona, was 10.3 miles a gallon. I had figured 10 to 12, so that's right in that range. My best was like 11.2 in a couple tanks when it was flat and there was no headwind, and my worst was down around 9 a couple times. What I did not factor in was the higher fuel costs, how much fuel costs have gone up. So I was averaging well over $4 a gallon on this trip coming from Wyoming to Arizona. The cheapest gas I found was in Wyoming when I left, and then in Texas. Everywhere else was quite a bit more expensive. I do need to run premium fuel in this van to keep the engine happy and the fuel injectors happy and everything, but it averages out because if I don't run premium, if I run regular unleaded, this van, Ford says 87 octane minimum, and that is true. It's not new by any stretch of the imagination, but if I run under 87, even without hauling anything, it just doesn't run well. So I always run 87 anyways, but running 91, it runs a little better, and I get 18 miles a gallon on open roads without hauling the trailer versus running 87 octane or 88 octane, as I often have to do out west here to get 87 or above. I'm usually around 14 or 15 miles a gallon. So it's kind of a break even on the cost, but because I get better gas mileage with it. But I was not planning on paying over $4 a gallon for fuel at 10 miles a gallon. So that was made an expensive trip. So that's not something I like very much. 2 vehicles to maintain. Now, obviously the trailer doesn't have an engine and transmission, but it does have tires, wheel bearings, brakes, trailer wiring. Did I mention trailer wiring? That's an ongoing curse that I'm still dealing with. I'm going to end up rewiring all of the trailer for the not the inside part, but for the brakes and the markers and the tail lights and everything. It's been a nonstop issue. So, and then there's RV appliances. That's a whole different can of worms. The furnace I just pulled out and threw away because it was 25 years old. There was no way I was even going to attempt to turn it on. The water heater was dead when I got it and already disconnected, so that's been pulled out. I will get a water heater eventually, but all the plumbing needs to be redone because it's old polybutylene tubing and it's prone to leaking. I have had some leaks already, so I don't want to put a new hot water heater in until I go through and replumb everything anyways. And then the refrigerator works great on AC. It does not have a 12-volt function. It's only AC or gas, and the gas doesn't work. Not at all. So it's supposed to be an auto igniter. It does nothing. I'm not a gas technician or an RV appliance technician by any stretch of the imagination, but my guess is it's a control board. Parts are very difficult to find for any of this stuff anymore because of supply shortages. They're all stuck in China or on ships outside of LA somewhere. And I don't know how much money I want to put in this thing anyways because it's a 25-year-old RV refrigerator. So RV appliances are a challenge. Power. This thing is set up for shore power. It did not even have a single 12-volt outlet or USB outlet in it when I got it. So I've added some of those, but I still need to add solar if I want to be camping off grid. I'm having to piggyback off the van right now and using a small jackery so to get through for power. It needs more house batteries. I just have one right now, and it's woefully inadequate for what I need to do. So I need additional wiring. It's no more 12-volt and USB wiring, but I've started that, but it still needs more of that. So the power thing is a challenge. It's fine when I'm plugged in somewhere at an RV park at a campground with electric, but when I'm boondocking, that is a challenge that needs to get addressed. Traveling. And when I'm talking about traveling, I'm not referring to driving. I don't mind driving with the trailer. I learned to drive dump trucks and haul trailers before I had a driver's license, so that is not concerning to me. It's not a problem, not hard to do, but other than the fuel efficiency. But traveling itself is I'm using the term, is a hassle. What I mean is fuel stops. You got to plan ahead for gas stations you can actually get into. A lot of gas stations have, I don't know what they were thinking when they designed the parking lots, and with the number of people on the roads these days, it's not uncommon, far more often than not, these few gas stations are packed. And so if you're trying to get in there with a trailer, this tiny parking lot, and you got to, people driving all kinds of crazy places, that's a challenge. Sightseeing, if I'm driving around the road, see something interesting in the van, I just slam on the brakes and turn in, or flip a U-turn real quick and come back. That's not so easy to do with the travel trailer. It's 40 foot long. You've got to make sure you can get turned around safely. You're not going to get stuck somewhere having to back out of something or whatever. So that's more difficult. Boondocking. I was in New Mexico. It's a great example. National Forest around. There was no way I was taking this trailer down forest roads, I don't know, trying to find a place to boondock. So basically it just takes more planning and care traveling with the trailer than what I'm used to. And this isn't going to be an issue for everybody, depending on your traveling style. For my traveling style, it's a bit of a hassle. I've been doing this for a long time, just wrapped up 6 years this month, so I'm starting my 7th year. I'm used to buzzing all over the place and be able to do things on a whim, and so traveling with the trailer requires a lot more planning and care, and that's something I don't particularly enjoy as much because it kind of messes with my spontaneity. And finally, when I first got the trailer, I was in an RV park in town. I was kitty corner from the managers. There was respectable people who had been there long term. It's a residential RV park. I never worried about leaving the trailer locked up and going to do errands and stuff. Got down to the desert and I'm looking around, I am in the middle of nowhere. Now, there aren't a lot of people around, but I have had people case my camp a few times over 6 years in remote areas. So it makes me nervous leaving the trailer unattended for any period of time while I'm gone, because there is nobody around to keep an eye on it. Now, for a week or a week and a half, I was with some friends, and that wasn't a problem because there were people around if I left. But now that I'm solo, and ironically, one of the reasons I moved up here was to get better self-service, and it did work for like a week, and then that was the end of that. But I can't even imagine what it's like down where I was before. So that does concern me. So what I end up doing is, if I have to go to town to do errands, I end up unloading all of the valuables, so to speak, my laptop and camera gear and stuff, piling it into the van to take with me because I don't dare to leave it alone. So that's something I don't like as much either, because it is not hard to break into a travel trailer if you're inclined to do so. So these are all things that, pluses and minuses, by and large, are going to depend on your own preferences, whether you think they're issues or not, or benefits or not. Bottom line is, there's no perfect vehicle. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you've heard me say that an awful lot of times, but there's no perfect vehicle. There's always trade-offs, especially when you're talking about long-term traveling or full-time traveling. I love the trailer when I'm parked, I'm camped. It's fantastic. The benefits are all that I wanted them to be. Not so much when I'm traveling. There is that hassle factor and the expense factor that between the hassle of having to plan ahead for where you're going so you don't get stuck somewhere you can't get out of, and the fuel costs, I end up not doing a lot of things I would like to do. So what does it mean going forward? I'm definitely keeping the trailer for the foreseeable future. I may leave it in Wyoming next winter. When I leave here in the spring, go back to Wyoming, I'm taking the most direct route I can to limit fuel costs and everything. I'll have it in Wyoming for the summer, but when I leave in the winter, late fall, winter, to travel again next year for the winter, I don't know if I'll take the trailer with me again or if I might just leave it in Wyoming for the winter and just travel light in the van. Obviously, that's not as comfortable. I'm not going to be able to, I'll lose the benefits of having the extra storage and stuff, but 18 miles a gallon instead of 10, I'm better able to go places and explore things I want to explore. So I don't know. We'll see. It's nothing set in stone. I have 9-10 months to figure it out, but I am already thinking about that. So what about you? Tell me about your experiences in the comments. Do you like to travel small and simple, or do you prefer larger and more comfortable, even though there's some limitations that go with that? Let me know in the comments what your experiences are. Thanks for joining me for this video, everyone. We'll catch you in the next one.